point A, what was your problem?
So I had always kind of slowly, gradually gained weight and then lost weight with very extreme diets, which were the only thing that really worked for me. And when I tried doing things like calorie counting and even things like Weight Watchers in the past, I had a tendency to have like 1 or 2 good weeks and then have a blip where I seemed to have gained lots of weight, even though I had in my own head done everything properly. And so I would often fall off the wagon then, because I feel like I was being really hard on myself, wasn't really enjoying anything, not losing weight. And so in my own head, I just think, well, I'll give up. And a couple of times I have lost quite a lot of weight, but that's been with really extreme dieting, very controlled, wet, lots and lots of exercise. And I've kept it off for a good while, but then just gradually sort of built it back up again. And I've, I mean, I enjoy food. I like eating. And I have times when I can exercise a lot, and then I have times when I can't exercise so much because of my job.
So over our the length of our program, over 12 weeks, you lost a lot of centimeters from your waist. I will then write down the numbers exactly, because I cannot get it from my head. Your weight fluctuated but went down slowly. You definitely could see the difference in the mirror and on the photos, the progress photos, how you became more toned. And this all happened while quarantine, with an extra challenge.
A definite challenge. I mean, that's what's been really good for me, is that seeing how much my weight has fluctuated, because I've never done that before. I've never weighed myself over such a long period, and being able to see, how my weight, without changing my calories, how my weight has fluctuated sometimes by a couple of kilos through either stress or work, or being more relaxed or hormonal. That it then starts to make you realize that actually a half a pound on a scale really doesn't matter in the long scheme of things. And so it's made dieting easier, although it was hard in the beginning. It's been a complete change of my mindset in terms of weighing myself and not worrying so much. So long as I'm doing the right things, I can't possibly, and Olga, you've been really good about reassuring me lots of times. And I've sort of learned, I've had weekends where I've eaten more calories and sometimes lost more weight because of that. And then it's gone back up again and steadied off. And I've had periods of being a lot lighter, but not eaten anymore. And so it's just been really good for me to see what I'm doing right and to ignore the scales a little bit, obviously be mindful of it. But I think not giving up has been the most important thing, is that actually I've been able for the first time ever to not do an extreme diet that gives me instant results, but do something much more steady and progressive, and just have faith in the kind of process, which I think you gave me the faith in the process. I don't know if I'd have stuck with it if you hadn't have constantly said to me, it's okay. So that's been really nice. And I've had this time off it, and I expected that my eating my weight would have just stabilized, but actually it's been really good to see that I can manage it on my own, because before I was kind of confident that the reason I was doing it was because you were managing it. But having this time away where I've kind of dipped in and dipped out of it, but it's been there in my mind all the time, and obviously knowing that we're checking in has just meant that I was really pleasantly surprised to see that I could still lose a little bit of weight on my own.
Just to clue everyone in, that we finished a month ago, and we agreed to do a small check-in today, and you lost weight. And also what I didn't mention is that first your weight didn't go down, and you would be discouraged otherwise, but because you measured waist and hips, and you were disciplined with your calorie intake, you actually did lose weight in spite of this, weight loss masked by water. You lost fat, but water was masking that.
And that's been really important for me to understand, I think. it's been you probably, I mean, I was a medical mystery at sometimes to you as well, as to how much weight I can gain quite quickly without it being, how fluctuant it could be.
Yeah, that's an excellent result. You also don't exercise too much, right? And you have a periods of not exercising.
I've had long periods of not. I mean, part of the reason I wanted to do this is because whilst I've been able to exercise a lot in the past, and my job's changed, and I now work full time, and with 3 children, trying to fit in exercise is really difficult. And in the first couple of weeks of lockdown, I was able to get out, and we were able to do some exercise and do little bits, but as my workload's just increased, that's become harder. And actually in the last month I've really hurt my knee. I've got a physio appointment tomorrow, so I haven't been able to exercise very much at all, apart from upper body, which I have continued on, but I have been mindful about being able to do the things that I can do. So you know, trying to get out, even if it was for a walk, and that's been good for me too, sort of knowing that there is things I can do that aren't hard exercise. Even if it's getting the kids out on a bike and going for a walk and just being, or doing the garden, that's kind of like, in my head, that's still exercise.
Exactly, yeah.
Get out and do that sort of stuff, but that I don't have to be in the gym for an hour a day, 5 times a week to look exactly how I want to be, because that's not sustainable.
Yeah, and I think it's also a good inspirational story of how many people think that they don't have time to lose weight because they need to cook, they need to exercise, but you're a great example of how you can work full
mental
time.
energy. I mean, that's been the amazing thing, is it really hasn't taken much mental energy at all. I haven't had to shop differently or prepare different food for anybody. You know, it's just kind of fit in, which, like I said, going back to this time, it could have been so different because everything else has been put before. So, you know, being a nurse, work has been put before, the children being home all the time has been put before, and I wouldn't have actually had the mental energy to diet. But because I haven't really had to, I've just had to be a little bit more mindful about how I eat, or what I eat, or how I do it. Then it's fit in, and it hasn't taken any space, which is often the problem as well, isn't it? It sometimes takes so much energy to think about food and dieting that it becomes really draining, and it hasn't been the case at all.
Yeah, that's great, especially that with the quarantine, you not only had a job and kids, but everything together at home, which is double challenge. And as for calories recording, it didn't take much time, right? It didn't take
not at all. I mean, once you input it in a few times, it just comes up automatically as well. And I do have a tendency to eat the same thing most days, with a little bit of variance in the evenings. But I haven't had to cut out things that I like as well. And I know I've thought a few times about, should I eat less carbs or should I just cut out bread? And I don't like to do that. It doesn't make me happy. So I've just carried on doing exactly what I do, really.
And you don't have to, because you don't have much of them, and you have a lot of vegetables.
My weight fluctuates might have improved if I was eating different things, and that's probably some of the results I've seen in the past, is eating, you know, vegetables, protein and rice. You don't get weight and water weight as much, which is probably where I see the results. Whereas with eating bread, I notice myself, if I have pizza or bread on the weekend, I'll be heavier on a Monday, but I won't have gone over my calories. But that's, you know, again, you've got to be ready to commit to diets like that, and I don't think I'd be in a place to do that right now.
No, nobody.
Nobody.
Yeah, excellent. Well done. It was really easy to work with you as well, because you just followed the advice and had the trust.
I think it's totally about having the trust. And I would be lying if I'd said, you know, you don't get a little bit disheartened when you're halfway through something and you see weight go back up. But I think just having you be able to guide me and have faith in that I was doing the right thing, even if I was wobbling, has been really helpful, because, you know, like I said, now I've done a month off it and I'm still losing weight without needing someone to guide me. And actually having trust that I also don't really need to weigh myself that much. Because it'll be okay. I haven't been eating massive amounts. I'm not going to have gained a stone overnight. It's been nice.
Yeah, good. So now you have confidence to move on. You have already tested this month, being on your own completely without any guidance.
And I also know that if I wanted to diet a little bit harder, you know, I could still cause, you know, I was saying 1,600 calories for me is very comfortable. I could put myself a little bit more outside my comfort zone if I wanted to, or I could exercise a bit more and continue. But I also don't have to do that either. So I'm good.